these artists dilute Afrobeat, reggae music, all the other genres of music? You think they're diluting it?
What's the difference between being pro-black and being a Pan-Africanist?
I hear that from the Bible too. You can't just take the Bible and paint it red, black, and green and tell me it's Pan-African. You know, the destiny of the black man is to be white, white, white.
Yardman Podcast are the one. Yardman Podcast are the one. Yardman Podcast are the one.
Yeah, man.
Yardman Podcast are the one. The Yardman Podcast.
Tell him
Tell
now.
about the Yardman Podcast. Yardman Podcast. Tell about the Yardman Podcast.
Boom!
Back again
Yeah, man.
with an
we tell ya.
extra special episode coming up.
Yeah, man. Probably our biggest episode yet. Biggest guest yet.
Yes.
Grammy nominated.
The man from the Kalakuta,
Yeah,
the
man.
heavyweight champion of the world,
See him there.
Seun
See him
Kuti.
there.
Here
Yeah,
he
man.
comes.
Yeah, man. All the way from Nigeria,
Wow.
blessing to Jamaica youth with his knowledge and his revolutionary message and his
Yes.
music. You know? And you know what's funny,
Yeah.
Seun?
Yeah, tell me.
Almost every episode we have a segment, right? Tony Hill's tunes. Sometimes you have to say Tony Hill, you can't put another Seun song this week. Like other artists needs to be on the playlist. Make it just create a Seun playlist and load up.
You know, these days, people are not making a lot of revolutionary music anymore.
That is true.
Fuck,
That is
fuck.
true.
Fact.
Yeah,
Fact.
that's the thing.
All right.
Mm.
So we have a little icebreaker. Tony Hill run it. Quick fire questions.
Yes, so
Short and sweet.
this is getting to know Seun Kuti in a minute. 10 questions in
Okay.
1 minute. Are you ready,
Let's
Seun?
go. I'm
All
good.
right. All right. What's your favorite breakfast meal?
Some water.
Intermittent fasting.
Your favorite record right now that you did?
My favorite record that I did right now.
Yeah.
Released or unreleased?
Ah,
Ooh.
released.
Well, okay, released has to be this my new remix with Sampa.
With Sampa.
Emi and Luther Zam Rock remix. Yes, with Sampa the Great.
Sampa the Great. All right.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite reggae song?
Ooh. My favorite reggae song is Plurimeneton by Tikinja Fakoli.
Ah. All
I
right.
don't
All
know
right.
him.
I don't know
You
that
know
one. but go
Tikinja?
ahead.
Do you know
no.
Tikinja?
Tikinja. No, I don't know him.
Yeah,
I should know him.
Is from Alpha Blondie's country as well.
Ah, okay.
It's from Ivory Coast, so he sings,
Ivory
but he
Coast.
sings in French. So
Ah, so French reggae.
yeah, but very powerful reggae artist for me. I'm very he's for me probably the best reggae artist.
No, okay, all right. Next question. Why do you
Apart
like
from
this?
Tony L, I mean,
Yeah. All right.
apart from my bro.
All right. Next question. Why do you like Desperado beers?
Fuck you, man. You want everybody to know I'm an alcoholic?
No.
It's because it comes with tequila in it. Like
Ah.
there's tequila in the beer.
Ah.
You know,
Why that?
in
All right.
Nigeria we say "Bemi debe" means it
Be-
takes me there.
Ah. Baby
Get-
Debe.
Baby get.
All right. Next question. What's your favorite Jamaican slang?
Blood clot.
Blood clot. Where were you born?
Lagos.
Nigeria. Aha.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Fela song?
Look and laugh.
Listen, you know, the first time I went to one of your shows in Madrid, you were there with Egypt 80. That time you had the Black Times album. I asked you
Yeah.
that question and you gave me the same response. I thought you
Listen,
were
bro.
joking with me.
Okay, so
later
there
I'll
you
ask you
go.
why. Later I'll ask you why look and laugh.
Okay.
All right. Next question. Who would you like to work with next?
Wow. I have quite a few on my list.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it now because then, you know.
All right. You don't want to
But
speak it
yeah, I
into
really want
being
to work.
just
I
yet.
want to work with a few people next on my next project. I want to
Yeah.
work with my friend Vector again.
Yeah.
I want to work with Burner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a few people I want to work with. From my circle this time on my
All
projects.
right. All right. And the
I
last
want to work with
question.
Fireboy as well.
Fireboy.
Spanish,
Yeah.
Fireboy.
Spanish
Yeah.
reggae artist. Yeah,
No.
No,
Fireboy.
Fireboy is
that's another
Nigerian.
one. There's a Spanish one as well.
Well, there you go.
It's funny. No, the funny thing is, we went to a Fireboy concert as well. He does Spanish dancehall, Spanish reggae.
A Spanish reggae artist. Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to have locks. Now him don't have locks. Yeah.
Him no have locks anyway. Last question.
And are you mad?
Yes, I'm mad. It's not a question though.
Right.
Are you mad? This is not a question.
And those are my questions.
Yeah,
And that
bro.
was getting to know Seun Kuti in 1 minute.
Yeah, man. Learned a lot. Seun, my first question, because to be honest, Tonil is the one that introduced me to you and your music and your message. And then obviously when a message is good, it's easily received.
True.
But my thing is, from your mouth, who is Seun Kuti and what is your purpose?
Wow. Well, I think, in a nutshell, I'm like everybody on a journey of self-discovery. I think that's what I enjoy the most about being a musician. It's like, just like music is a constant educational curve. You're learning something new about it every time you engage with it. That's the same thing I feel about myself, that I'm learning more about myself every day as I engage with myself on all levels, as a musician, as a father, husband, as a Pan-Africanist, as a revolutionary. So I think I can sum up my purpose, and I think it's also why we're all here, is to be as close to the knowledge of who we are as possible.
True.
I think that's the way to put it. Yeah. Getting as close to who you really are as possible. I think that's the purpose.
And do you feel like do you get a fight, trying to be yourself and trying to be Seun Kuti every day?
I think that is the struggle, isn't it? Some people think, when you have money, then you should just do anything, and if you have money, then you can be yourself. But then they quickly realize that money is not in any way a part of that journey. And I think a lot of people are disappointed. People like Elon Musk are disappointed when they find out that, money doesn't even help you in this journey. And then they are pissed off because they've ruined their humanity trying to make this money just so they can be themselves.
True.
When then you find out you're a Nazi. Oh.
Right.
On your journey, you just make a turn and you turn out to be a Nazi. All right.
So yeah.
All right, next question. Cause I understand that you took over Egypt 80 at the age of what age again? What age was it again? Was it 9? 14?
No, I was
sorry?
14.
14, sorry. Yeah. And as a youngster, taking over the band at the age of 14, and now you're 42. Like, what major changes did you have to do to actually make the band survive all of these years? One of the major changes that you had to make.
Well, I mean, right now, right, what I've realized is artists that don't need musicians can travel with as many people as they like.
True.
Then artists that need musicians are put on a budget where you cannot travel with as many people as you would like to make music.
Yeah.
You understand? So you can watch an artist on stage and there are 40 of them. Only one person is the artist. Only one person, or one DJ and one artist and one hype man are actually playing the music.
Yeah.
You know, but they can afford to fly all their friends and all everybody back. You know, it's a full show every time. So that's how music is today. So I think what I've done the most is to find that balance in being able
Okay.
to keep a big band like ours working, you know, while still keeping the integrity of the music intact. I think that's the great balancing act that I have had to do to keep the band going in this modern time.
And a
Yeah.
follow-up question to that. Because the first time I saw you perform, I saw you with like original members of the Egypt 80 band. For example, the drummer, the hands man, Kunle Justice, the bass player, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. And then eventually over the years, because the first time I saw you perform was in 2019 in Madrid, and the last
Yes.
time I saw you perform was in Granada. That was 2 years ago, right?
Mm,
And
yes.
I saw that the band members they changed. The only one that
Yeah.
who was there with you the last time I saw you was Kunle Justice,
Justice. Yes.
the bass player. Why was that?
Two reasons. Two reasons. You know,
Yeah.
two reasons. One is time.
Mm-hmm.
Time is just the great um how do I put it? Time is just the ultimate decider.
True. Time is a master.
Yeah. So with time, you know, people age and they have to go.
Yeah.
And then when those real original members, I played with my father. So the next step I was thinking is, what is the new Egypt 80 going to look like?
Yeah.
You know, what is Egypt 80 going to be after this baton has been passed to the new generation?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also understanding that Fela's message and Afrobeat and this movement is no longer uh, tied to Nigeria alone. It's a global thing.
Yeah. Because you even have Afrobeat bands in Brazil, for example. So all of South
Everywhere,
America, basically. Yeah.
everywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Australia,
Yeah.
Japan. You know, so there's a more global outlook to the band. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, this was a way to add something, my own mark, to say, okay, this is in my own time. Afrobeat became also an international entity.
Mm-hmm.
That we have a band, that the Egypt 80 has a band that represents that global uh, reach, the global representation of the music that cuts across all nationalities and races,
Yeah.
and also that there's the band that represents the African continent as well. You know, being the so I run through Egypt 80 bands now, so that's what I could say. You
Yeah.
know, and that's another thing that I've done that is kind of difficult as well.
I
Keeping
imagine.
two bands, you know, going at the same time. And basically, you know, this decision was made, as I said, not just because, okay, yes, it's a profound thing to do, but we are economically forced in today's musical space. Real musicians are the ones forced to sacrifice the
Yeah.
quality of their music and their musicianship so that these entertainers can thrive, you know.
The market has changed. And do you feel any pressure upholding this legacy that has been essentially handed down to you since you were 14?
Well, no, nobody can pressure me. I think I don't feel pressure because people are pressured enough on my behalf.
Okay.
I find out that people are more worried about this than me, you know.
Hmm.
So I think all this pressure just, you know, it's all for me because people just take it as their job to feel the pressure on my behalf. Because for me, I try to take it in my stride, you know.
I
Take it
think that
And
calm.
also,
Yeah.
is the thing about life that things are always more complicated when you're outside looking in.
Yeah.
all
Next
right.
question.
Um, the Grammys recently. You're a Grammy
Hmm.
nominated artist. What are your thoughts on the Grammys? What were the main takeaways? And do you think the Grammys is a good representation of accrediting talent and rewarding people for their contributions to music?
Awards generally are not that. That's not what awards are.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, awards are just a day. It's just that we add too many. There's too much importance to these things today. you know, because music is subjective. It's so subjective, you know. I mean, nobody can say any music is the best. It's impossible. I know fully well that some of the greatest musicians in the world never got any kind of awards, you know,
That is
because even
very
at
true.
the time when they were alive, these organizations seriously frowned upon. I mean, forget the African ones. I mean, like even the Rolling Stones in their active time, you know, they were seen as a alternative lifestyle, left against the grain, you know, the bad boys.
Bad
And for
boys,
that
yeah.
reason, they were punished by never giving any Grammys or anything like that, you know.
Okay.
So I think these things are just what they are if we don't put too much importance to it and let it define us.
Okay.
I always say the greatest award you can give to yourself as an artist, the greatest award you can get as an artist is the one you give yourself. Because trust me, every rapper, every musician, all of you can come out in public and do I'm the best and do all that shit. But inside, you know if you're shit. You know?
You know if someone wrote your songs and does your
Yeah,
beats and told
exactly.
you how to
You
sing them.
know. You know. you know this. You know,
That's why
Yeah.
they need the bling and the lifestyle so much. I think
exactly. You
that
know, you need to value, you need to, like I tell people, like if you meet an artist and he's down to earth and he's cool and he's respectful and he's humble, it's because he's truly talented. He has nothing to hide.
ah
He has
ah.
nothing
He's,
to
he's,
hide.
So it's
he's
the
not the
one that
loudest
create
man in
that
the room.
camouflage.
When you meet this artist with 100 bodyguards and all and he's a snob and doesn't even want to get, they don't want you to get too close so you don't sniff out the fakeness. Like, nigga, you ain't even a real artist.
But how do you respond to those kinds of artists though? The ones that basically perpetuate that kind of like you don't really need talent, you just need to have luck.
It is what it is, man. It's not. See, I never blame the artist for something that is societal.
Okay.
You know, the society. They are more. They are more victims than they are actors.
Okay. And do you think this
They are
dilutes
also
Afrobeat?
victims. So in a way, I feel bad. You know,
Yeah.
like man, I wish this guy was conscious enough to see the victimization of his existence. But everybody is so has their head up their own ass, so far up their own ass that such an advice in today's world is even frowned against, friend to friend.
Yeah.
Talk less you talking to a stranger and trying to tell him like, yo, man, you're just being a tool right now.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I've
many of
remember.
our young artists are also victims in a larger agenda that they don't even understand.
Yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you
the
think
Baha men have a Grammy, and Bob Marley doesn't have a Grammy. So
not a living one?
make of that what you will.
As I say,
True,
sometimes
true,
you can
true.
find one song. But do you think these artists dilute Afrobeat, reggae music, all the other genres of music? You think they're diluting it? Diluting the true essence of especially revolutionary music. When you see
I
like
think society, as I said, the society in general. We know there's social engineering that goes on. You know that determines uh, what people hear, see in the mainstream, right? So I think people should be intelligent enough to understand that there's no education in the mainstream.
No, you have to go underground.
There's no education. You cannot learn anything new on CNN. You cannot learn anything new on BBC. Judge me, you cannot learn anything new on any MTV, you cannot discover nothing new. What everything you discover on these things are products packaged, manufactured the way they are to, reach the people. And that's where it's dangerous because mainstream is free. So that's why they can reach the people more. It has such a huge spread that mainstream information is free. But true knowledge is expensive, is almost niche. You know, to find these books, to find these artists, to discover these artists, the artists will never come to you like mainstream music comes to you everywhere you go. You just hear it somewhere.
True.
You know, it's
yeah.
something you have to discover. Discovery in today's age is expensive. especially when you're living on less than $2 a day.
Yeah.
You understand? So all these things are social engineered. It has nothing to do with the artist per se. I came into the realization quite recently also that we do what we do, maybe not for this time that we exist in, not this timeline. I think my father's message has more impact out of his timeline, out of his existence than it ever did while he was alive. So is Bob's message. There are more people today inspired by him than when he was alive. And that's the power of true revolutionary conscious people music. You know, we make it so that it's there for the people to use when the time comes. And the time might not be while you are making it. Does that make
True.
sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And so for me, I don't really, the artists, fuck them. It's true. I mean, it's like when journalists say to me, "Oh, why don't you make your music a beat for the children so that young people can?" I'm like, "Fuck them kids," you know.
Yeah,
Stay
yeah,
true to
but you're right.
you.
You're
Stay
right. You're
true to
right.
you.
Because as you said,
So
yeah,
I'm happy. Like the people in the world that need to hear you will hear you,
true.
and the message that needs to. Our job is to make sure that the true message of Africa does not die in our time. That the fire is not extinguished in our generation. Victory for us is not a day of liberation. It's simply that we are able to pass on the torch before the hail of bullets tore us down. That you were able to pass it on to the next runner, and you see him going, and then you're dying off, and you're like, okay, the torch is on the move.
So your message is more about incremental change, is not the final change.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the final change, but it doesn't have to be a sudden change.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
slowly.
happy if it takes as long as it takes.
True.
I've come to the realization, like, many of us we are sold with this European notion of victory. That's another colonial pillar in our mind, where we see victory, the way Europeans see victory. The winner takes all in all, that there's no lesson for the winner except his triumph. There's no
True.
lesson for the winner except his strength, except his right to be the winner. That's the only lesson you take from winning in the European concept. You are the winner, that's it. You are right for winning. Everything is okay.
Once you
There's
win.
no self-reflection.
Yeah.
But we as Africans know that to win could also mean to lose.
Yeah.
So
He who fights and runs away lives to fight another day.
exactly. So I mean, there's a lot of victories for us. There are levels to our own ideas of victory that is different from the European one. So I tend not to want to get caught up in this victory day idea.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone wants to see Freedom Day. Everyone wants to see it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's true. What's
But
so
what if what if it's not just one day? What if it's days
A
and days that it's
generation.
just a sequence or series of days that has happened that are happening that we are experiencing, but we don't even know that we are becoming more and more free by these little things until it all piles up into one avalanche of freedom, and then one day we just realize, oh shit,
we're free?
Free.
we got this.
Free.
Free at last. Free at last. So what's your biggest frustration with the leadership? Especially in, like, let's start out in Africa. In your own country. What's your biggest
I
frustration?
mean, just like anywhere else in the world, leadership is too white. That's the problem. The Those that govern and how would I put it? Govern African people or influence African people all over the world are governed too much by European concepts and ideas. That's just it. That's their greatest and this is why I don't really follow Umar's reasoning. When Umar is like, because we tend to get lost in our own source. You know, we want some things to be so true sometimes, but it's just not true. You know, talking about, you marry a white woman is because you cannot love yourself as a black man. You have no, a black man must marry a black woman, and that will give you strength in blackness. Me. But I know fully well that every single politician in Africa is married to a black woman.
Okay.
And there are no worse people to African people than these couples.
Yeah. So Dr. Umar, how
Yeah.
many lashes do you think he would give you for liking Scarlett Johansson? Like,
I don't know. It's not as much lashes as I would give him, you know, for slagging off Sheikh Anta Diop for marrying a white woman, you know.
okay. Do you think Dr. Umar does more harm than good to Pan-Africanism?
You know, I don't know whether it's more harm than good. I just know that his theories sound white to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these black boys need to be more educated and trained. We need to train our black boys. That just sounds to me like the same ghetto racist rhetoric. Oh, unruly black teenagers, they need to be brought to heel. You know, they need to be trained. These black kids need training. They need education. They need some strong hand. You know, it's all slave mentality, whip the nigger into shape kind of shit. You know, all sounds the same to me. You know, the black woman is this and that. You know, you need to submit to your man. All that shit is Bible talk, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I hear that from the Bible too. You can't just take the Bible and paint it red, black, and green and tell me it's Pan-African. Shit, it's still the Bible. Like, I can hear the Bible. When I hear the Bible, I hear the Bible. I know the Bible when I hear it, you know.
The Bible gets translated
so
in many ways I use.
Exactly, you know.
So let me ask you, Seun.
It's cool for boys. It's cool for black boys only. You know, that's some white shit. If ever,
It's so weird, yeah.
if ever I've seen a white solution, it is cool for black boys only. You know,
We have a question for you, Seun. What's the difference between being pro-black and being a Pan-Africanist? And can you define who is a Pan-Africanist and what is the Pan-Africanism mindset?
okay, pro-black is what it is.
Yeah.
It is infantile attempt at
Mhm.
liberation, because black is a necessary step from nigger. Definitely, from slave nigger to be black is a necessary step, I believe, but it cannot be the destination. The destination must still be to go back to being Africans again, because that's what was taken from us, our Africanness,
Yeah.
and replaced with slaveness. And after slaveness came niggerdom.
And so
Wait, O'Neill. He's getting a
can't think.
call.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, we can
back.
hear
You're
you. Yeah,
back
man,
in
yeah, man.
action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. You remember the question?
Yes,
Are you
ask
ready?
Pro-black and Pan-African.
Yeah, and how does it tie
So,
into Pan-Africanism? Yeah.
yeah, so, you know, every Pan-African is pro-black,
Mm-hmm.
but not all pro-black people are Pan-Africans.
Okay.
Explain
You
that.
understand? So
Yeah.
Obama, for example, is pro-black,
Yeah.
but Obama ain't Pan-African.
All right, cool.
What
Yeah.
makes a Pan African in your eyes?
Jay-Z is pro-black, meaning that they will talk black issues within. These are people that will talk black issues within white concepts. The Jay-Z's of this world, for example, they find our solutions for them are within the system. The pro-black people want to find your solution within the white supremacy system. They are the integrationists. Those that celebrate the first blackism. First black to go to this place. First black to open this shit. First black to work here. First black to do that. So it's all integration, about integrating, about how much they can achieve in the empire. Pro-black people generally do not have a problem with empire.
Okay.
Most of them are in active service of the empire. The pro-blacks are, the ideology is the black excellence rhetoric to outwhite the whites.
Beat them at their own game.
It's almost like the spook who sat by the door.
Exactly like Frantz Fanon said, you know, the destiny of the black man is to be white. Yes, in black skin, white mask, which is true, because black in this concept is that which is seeking whiteness. You know,
That's why this is the price.
Yes, you know, hence they are, you know, they critique the system to the extent that they critique the banks. Their only problem with the banks is that they don't give enough black people loans.
And not looking at what the bank represents.
Exactly.
For example.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's all about integration for the pro-blacks. You know, whereas the Pan-African is about revolution.
True.
It's to inspire the black people, because we have come together as a people. We came together out of slavery. As a people, we came together out of colonialism and Jim Crow. You know, that's what made us black. But what we have found is that a lot of people don't want to take that necessary next step to become African again. Many of them want to stop the struggle at black, at the integrationist aspect, where we have won to the aspect, to the extent that the Europeans are not like, okay, we will allow you in the house. You understand what I'm saying? You can come in the house now. So most people are like, man, we've been working for so long, let me go in the house. But the Pan-Africanist is saying we need to build our own house. Fuck this house that has overseen our savage enslavement and brutalization for centuries. In fact, we should plan to burn this fucking house down if we have the opportunity. But our goal can't be to rest at this porch, in this porch, because the house is only so big, only a few of us can get in. Most of us will have to chill outside still and just be on the porch. You know, and they're like, man, we need to build our own house so that we can all fit in, or as many houses as we need so we can get out of this sun or this rain, you know. So that's the concept.
Yeah.
You know, black is about integration. Pan-African is about revolution.
And just to add to what you're saying about you know, one having to identify first that they are African and not just only black. Because in the Caribbean, for example, I can speak to you of the context of Jamaica. The moment you start to relate a Jamaican with an African, they will tell you, no, I'm not an African. You know, they don't look at Africa as somewhere great.
Some
they don't
Jamaicans.
Most, I would say the grand majority of Jamaicans, based on the image that we've been fed of what Africa is, and from the media and all of these kind of things. And in the
grand
end,
majority of Africans too don't want to be African, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, just imagine the Caribbean.
No, because it's as I say, it's a mainstream thing that they're fed.
Give me a second. I have some bills to pay. Sorry.
All right.
Your podcast is not escaping me from paying bills. I thought I could give an that 25. I thought I could use this podcast as a way to deflect. I'm doing a podcast. They're like, no, you have to pay.
Yeah.
The bread needs to be handed out. Capitalism never stops.
It never stops,
bro.
Can't put it on pause.
These beasts don't sleep.
Yeah.
Can't put that on pause at all. Tony, what did I say?
Yeah, so I was saying that, you know, we don't want to be associated with Africa. Right?
And I was saying to you, even in Africa, African people don't want to be associated with Africa. Nigerian women they bleach the most. 70% or more than 70%.
Or Jamaican women too, or Jamaican people too.
Yeah, you know, and why do you think we do that? Do you think people are bleaching because they want to look like Nkrumah?
No. Or Shekanti Job, no.
Exactly.
And yeah, so like, how would you? I don't want to say sell the idea because that sounds very capitalistic. But how would you give the idea of Pan-Africanism to somebody of the Caribbean? How would you pitch the idea to them? Meaning, how would you pitch the idea for them to come on board of the Pan-African boat, the Black Star liner, going forward to Africa,
You know,
like
the thing
Marcus
is,
Garvey?
I don't think, how would I put it now? I don't think it is appropriate for us to preach Africa to African people.
Hmm.
What African people must understand is that the way South America exists today without South Americans, more or less.
Hmm.
North America exists without North Americans. Australia exists without the
Without
Aboriginals.
Australian, yeah.
Africa might one day exist without African people.
Without. But is that ideal?
So Africa doesn't need them to understand. You understand me? Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing can happen to Africa. The message that comes out from our spirit to ourselves is for us not to lose our gift.
Yeah.
Or squander what the gift of the ancestors?
We pray for the gift. The gift never prays for us. There's no gift that says, oh, let's say football skills are like, oh, I'm football skills and I pray, I go to Messi. Fuck that shit.
You need to. Yeah.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
True.
So
True.
Africa is our gift, and it's that's another thing we're missing, thinking that it needs us. This message is not for Africa, it's for Africans. Not to lose that which makes us special, which can make us great, not to become eradicated, extinct. If our extinction is not enough reason to galvanize people to make certain sacrifices or change certain aspects of how they relate with the world, then so be it.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Right. What
You
about
know,
we're talking about the Pan Africanism, but then we also have the white supremacism on the other side. That is, they are fighting their fight, I think, more strategically because
They don't have to fight their fight.
they don't they have the mainstream. They control the media. They control a lot of the pro blacks, as you said, and they control a lot of black people as well, our agenda, the society. What do you think we need to do to essentially counteract their message?
it's a value thing. There's no counteracting the message. Africans value the price of European things. The European, through our minstrels,
Mhm.
through the black politicians, the black elites, entertainers, influencers, they've been able to convince us to put value in the price of their products. So Africans really, and something having a price that is high doesn't necessarily make it valuable. You understand?
Yeah.
True.
Values, the desires of a man. Amos Wilson said, what a man desires truly in his heart, those things that he values, determines every aspect of his relationship with the world. Who he wants to spend time with, who he doesn't want to spend time with, how he spends time with them, the quality of conversation he has with anybody, the quality of conversation he has with his boss, with his wife, with his children, the kind of food he wants to eat, the places he wants to go is directly tied to the desires of your heart. What you want from this world determines how you move in this world. And we've been convinced to want to afford things. So the value we make things because they're expensive, they are suddenly so valuable to us. So every song you hear, how does these famous black people now, okay, they let us know, okay, I'm famous, I'm rich. How do we know you're famous and rich? I bought something for this amount. I own this thing that is this amount. Can you go to this place and pay this amount? everything at the end of the day ties down to the amount of something. So there's no value, intrinsic value given to the lives of African people. In fact, in this mainstream, we find that the lives of African people are one of the least valuable things. You know,
Yeah, I can see
in
that. I
fact,
definitely see that, and
you should
we
not
can
even
see.
care about this life. I mean, people make hit records singing about how they snuff out this life for no reason. That you just
True.
step on my shoes, boom, bap, black nigga.
Bam.
You know. So you find that we begin to, inculcate this nastiness about who we are also, because
Our
it's so
entire valid.
validated, it's so validated, so much uh societal endorsement is given to this kind of expression about Africans and African lives all over the world that many of us begin to normalize it also. So it's a value thing.
Yeah,
It's a value thing. But what is happening is, this has not been too long. You have to understand, when did Martin Luther King die? When did they just shoot Malcolm X? When did Nkrumah pass away?
Yesterday.
Yeah, so
Yesterday.
we've lost a whole bunch of leaders, an entire generation of leadership wiped out. We are the first set of truly leaderless Africans. And what we are doing, for me, is so profound and so great that instead of us to disperse and be defeated like most groups globally, who ended up just disappearing, even from their own lands, is that we are reigniting the fight and rediscovering leadership without mentorship.
Mm.
We are not a group where the leaders of our communities are invested in the development of our leadership class and are, investing back to create leadership in our communities to bring us back to dignity and glory. No, we don't have that. The Elon Musks of Africa, the Bill Gates of Africa, the Jeff Bezos of Africa, they are busy spending their money on luxury yachts and trips all over the world and expensive stuff and whatever they do with their money, and exploiting us as well, to invest back in us. So we don't have that, but we are still recreating our leaders again, reaching back into our past to be inspired by these men that were able to take these giant steps in a time where there were no emails, no flights, no constant flights, bro, no telephones, no mobile phones, bro. How did Nkrumah liberate Ghana without sending an email?
Bobo clan.
What the fuck?
TikTok.
A true.
Yeah. So who are some of the leaders nowadays that we should be looking out to or listening to? Who are some of those leaders that?
I think it is us right now, all of us right now that are doing the work. We all have a little bit of something in us that we all have to nurture ourselves also. So there are no institutions that are nurturing and feeding us our instincts. We are the only group. I mean, the Arabs have all sorts of groups funded, well backed. The Chinese, everybody, they are there trying to shape the world in a way, except these African motherfuckers. I've never
According,
seen people like this in my life.
yeah,
So hedonistic, so pleasure driven. But this is just simply because 90% of African leadership are direct descendants of slave traders and their agents.
Yeah.
All they've known in their lives is to sell Africa and its people. It used to be for mirrors and gold and sugar and bullets and guns and gin. Now it's Rolls Royce and private jets and
And Louis
designer. It's the same.
Vuitton,
Yeah, it's the same shit. They are just like their
Gucci.
ancestors.
Yeah.
The time it's our time to organize outside of these people, and that's why they invest so much in keeping us, in their story.
yeah,
They are afraid of us, now telling our story. They want us to continue in this. It's not even a story. It's a fucking fable. You know,
Yeah, moving out of Africa a little bit.
I'm going
Recent
to.
elections and the recent inauguration. Donald Trump and his right hand man, or his puppet
my heart
master,
goes out to
Elon
you.
Musk.
My heart. Listen,
Where,
my heart,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that?
my heart. You know, all my life, hearts have gone out like this.
Mm.
It's
All
true.
my life.
Or a little bit like,
Oh, you know,
yeah,
Or even something like this.
the
Something like
Koreans, the
this.
Koreans, the
Yeah,
Koreans.
yeah.
you know, but you know, my heart is to you. I, my heart is for you. But you know, hey,
Yeah.
my
What a
heart is
gesture. What
coming
a
out to
gesture.
my heart goes out to you really quick, fast.
In two
And,
directions.
and yeah. These guys are incredible, man. I
No,
don't
but
believe
you
it.
know, as I always say, fascism is the immune system. Everybody knows that. Fascism is the immune system of capitalism.
Mm. Wow, interesting.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Yeah, for
Uh,
real, for real, for real.
so you
You
think
don't know that?
the way you
the
put it,
the
like
way
it
it,
just have me thinking now. I mean, me meditating on a
Anytime,
different level.
anytime capitalism is facing a crisis,
Yeah,
guess
fascism
who
comes back.
guess who comes out to fix
The
it quick?
the white blood
Fascism.
cell, the white blood
You
cell,
had blood.
the white blood cell. Yo, the white
Ah.
blood cell fascism. What a freaking analogy.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
I think the white blood cell. My God, that's like that's. that- you know. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah. But they say Elon Musk is African, no? South Africa, no?
yeah, just the way what was it called? Kamala Harris is American. You know.
Yeah.
And Jamaican, yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah, you know, like Elon Musk is fucking African. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
What do you
Serves
think?
them right.
Yeah.
Serves them fucking right. They're gonna have some. Let them have a taste of their own apartheid.
Mm.
Fucking
One day, one
apartheid people.
day.
Mm. What do you think about like AI technology and that stuff? Like from a technological aspect, because obviously we can't ignore it. People try to ignore social media and the internet. No, there's AI technology. How is that going to affect the movement?
I don't know, man. I really don't know because seriously, this AI thing, I don't even have chat GPT on my phone. I don't have
Mm.
DeepSeek. I'm done digging myself into this. Like, I don't own any crypto or anything, you know. Like, we are not even, we don't even know how to use the analog money yet, you know.
Nah.
Why are we jumping to the digital one?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what to do with the analog one. We get a little bit of it, we lose our minds. Why are we going to this digital one? Let's master the analog one. You know, we Black African people that everybody is just diving head first, you know. And AI for me is just, you know, I stopped at Instagram. Instagram was the last new thing I got.
Yeah.
You know, I've not got anything that came out after Instagram. I'm not following them. Like, I'm not going. I'm done. You know, and listen, they told us themselves. They've told you now. Because don't start complaining in 20 years' time. They've told you now it is artificial intelligence.
Artificial.
Artificial, meaning
Mhm.
fake,
But it sounds fancy.
unoriginal,
Mhm.
fake intelligence. That's stupidity. People are
But how
investing trillions in stupidity. They've named it themselves. Sir,
artificial?
this is artificial. It is fake and fake intelligence just means what? Stupidity. You know, but it's all white, so it's all right. You know, but it's not all right anymore because now the Chinese one is out. Is a problem.
Yeah.
It's
So
only cool when only white people have it. As soon as you get a yellow or a black one, there's a problem.
problem.
Black official intelligence coming soon.
Is my food here? Okay, I'm coming.
All right.
I think
You're a fan of boxing. Something more lighter than that topic, you know. Which one of these
Yeah.
celebrities that are world leaders would you like to just get in the ring with and just settle things with fists?
I don't have
I know
celebrities.
who.
Tell me.
He whose name should not be spoken.
Oh my goodness, I'll kick his ass. Let's go. He who must, and he needs the ass whooping. You see, he needs like right now, he needs the ass whooping right now.
He
He who
needs
must not
one.
be named right now is begging for an ass whooping.
Yes.
All this is recent tweets.
Uh-huh.
Everywhere he says rappers. I hope you know he's trying to say niggers and black people. Really.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what he's trying to say. He's so this guy, and he's not crazy. Just like
Not
Elon Musk
not
is
every
not on
day.
any spectrum. The symptom
Yeah.
of white supremacy, the symptom of mental disorder is not white supremacy. Yes, racism is
Seun is
not
a
a
doctor
symptom
today.
of a mental disorder. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you are racist, it's because you are racist. If you are a
And that's
coon,
it.
it's because you are a coon.
Yeah.
Fucking fuck that guy, man.
You know we attack, right,
Yeah,
David?
yeah, but
Alright.
there's a big weight class difference. How do you manage that?
It's to his advantage. He needs to be heavier than me because man,
This guy.
this man.
All right.
Uh,
Also, one more sports question. You studied in Liverpool, right? How come you're an Arsenal fan?
Because I studied in Liverpool. That's why. Those
You
fucking
are
racist causes. Nobody is supporting those racist causes. Nobody. You know.
mm,
No, but I was an Arsenal supporter before I went to Liverpool anyway. But living in Liverpool and my experiences in that city, I'm sure I don't want to support Liverpool Football Club. Like,
yeah.
oh shit.
why would anybody
You,
want to support Liverpool Football Club
yeah. What were
if
those
you've
days
lived
like
in
for you?
Liverpool as a black man,
Yeah. What
as
were
an
those days
African?
like for you? What were those days living in the UK like for you? Like
Old,
in your
gray, violent. Ugh.
what stood out most to you in terms of like interactions with the people? Because if you were in London, maybe probably a little different, more metropolitan.
Yeah.
But what stood
When
out
I was
most
in
to you? Like,
Liverpool, in the early 2000s, Liverpool was still kind of like, broke down, shitty ass, broke
Mm.
down. Broke City was it's changed now.
yeah,
Liverpool is when I go now, I don't even recognize anywhere. I'm like, where the fuck am I? Where is this place? I don't know anywhere in Liverpool anymore. I'm just like lost because it's so different from when I was there just 20 years ago. You know, but
Mm.
back then, it was just too many drunk people on the streets,
I don't think
too
that
many people
changes
trying
in the
to
UK.
too many people trying to rob you, mug you.
And I was like a jungle. Like a real
Yeah, too
concrete
many.
jungle.
Yeah, now and I lived in the real well, not inside Toxtis, but just at the edge of Toxtis. And Toxtis was like the crazy area of Liverpool. So I was borderline with the crazies.
Yeah. Why did you go there to study?
Yo,
Ask me
more
Why
that
man
did
know.
question again in
Yeah.
the future. I don't know. It was also to get away. It was I actually wanted to study, so I wanted to go somewhere where I would not have a lot. London would have been too distracting, and Liverpool also had a really good music school. So
Ah, okay. But did you, like, at that age, did you actually feel the need to study music, or did you
But
feel that you were
yes,
talented enough to do it by
yes
yourself?
and no. Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Yes and no. You know, for me, I was always in the Egypt 80 band playing with all these advanced musicians, so I was never good enough. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uni was the first time I actually played with musicians my age, and it gave me some confidence because I'm like, man, I'm better than all these motherfuckers or just as good. So you don't feel so bad about yourself. Then you understand, oh, it's just because those guys have been playing for way longer than I have. That's why
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they are this good. Okay, fine. You get some self-esteem back. And it was
But
also for me, being raised as a prince of Afrobeat music in the Republic, it was a way to, like Akim, to just fucking get out of the house. You know.
the
Yeah.
Kalakuta.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was the first time to just get out of the house, I was raised, like really like in my own world. Like everything was about me, for me, nothing, just protected in this little bubble,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you
You know
know.
what it sounds like, Tony, to me? It sounds like, the Amish people. The Amish people
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah. We
America.
are
Yeah,
Amish
Right?
people.
When they grow up in their society, but when the kids come of age, they say, you know what, go out in the world and see if this is for you. If it's for you to come back home, go out there in the promiscuity, all that
Yeah,
temptation. Go experience the
Babylon,
temptation.
basically.
Yeah, experience temptation. And if you come home, then you realize that this is the real lifestyle for you. You're not forced into it.
yeah,
And you go to Liverpool, you could have become a different man in Liverpool.
You could
yeah,
have even
man.
stayed there
Yeah,
and
and
make
things were
yourself
good for
from
me because
there.
I turned 21 there. I got all my inheritance money. I was balling, bro.
Yeah.
I was balling, man. Listen, don't play. It was a good time. But I couldn't wait to go back home. As soon as I was
Yeah.
done in school, I packed my shit and I came home. You know,
Mm. Um, do you enjoy playing music in Europe more than you enjoy playing, for example, back home or any other place in Africa or in America?
just that my European and American checks are bigger than my Nigerian checks. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to work to get my Nigerian check up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's difficult in Nigeria because in Nigeria everything is so corporate here. That if you are
Mm-hmm.
anti-establishment, then you are basically anti your own existence in a way.
Yeah.
So you can't get the brand deals and the sponsorships that would be
Yes, like
needed.
you need to do the big shows that will bring the big money. Anyway, gentlemen, I hate to love you and leave you. I know I promised you marriage and I said I'll meet your parents. But you know how we Nigerians are.
Yeah. Before you go, you have to answer at least a couple of the fan questions that they submitted on Instagram, or else they
Yeah,
would they
yeah,
Okay,
would they
yeah.
yeah.
would, they would eat us alive. Um, just five of them. Five of them.
Okay.
Tony, Odin of Life said, what's one policy you would implement across all African nations and why?
Massive wealth redistribution programs.
Ah.
Because it is important that the relationship between Africans, our elites, and our natural resources are completely, the dynamics of that relationship is completely overhauled and changed. And before you go on to say shit, as doesn't mean we're going to start putting money in all your accounts, African people.
Everybody, you're gonna get a lot of DMs.
Yeah.
Here's my account number.
It
Uh,
means
Africa
instead of investing in people's refineries and their oil companies and in the government throwing money at real estate businesses and big pharma businesses, the government will instead throw money in our healthcare, our infrastructure, our education, our housing, and things like that
Mm-hmm.
for public
okay.
benefits. I think that is one thing that I will strive to implement. You know,
Okay. And another person asked, do you think Africans should retire the use of the word nigger?
fuck no,
Why
fuck
not?
no. I'm certified. I'm a certified nigga sayer. Like nigga, my nigga. Like, listen, it's ours
Nigga,
now.
man.
It is ours now. It is the one
Yeah.
thing we've been successfully able to take from Europeans, and I, for one, ain't giving it back. Maybe I'll stop saying nigga when we take back our resources, take back our dignity, take back our land. If we take back all these things, maybe I'll give nigga back. But for now,
Yeah.
fuck them
Nigga.
niggas.
Because all right, sir. Next one. What advice would you give to young Pan-Africanists?
Oh no, that's simple. Elevate your consciousness. We have as motherland people, it is the most difficult thing you can do today is to find time to elevate your consciousness, because our oppressors know that truly that's just it. No nation in the world can be greater than the consciousness of its people.
Yeah.
No nation can rise higher or rise above the consciousness of its people.
Okay.
Truly, our liberation lies in the level of our consciousness. And as Pan-Africanists, we owe it to ourselves and our continent to continually elevate that part of ourselves.
Okay.
It's your only duty as a Pan-Africanist.
Keep moving forward. Yeah. And next question from fan. How can you nurture your revolution spirit if you're working for an imperialistic organization?
Sabotage. Sabotage, sabotage, sabotage.
Oh, sabotage.
You
Shit.
sabotage that fucking company from within every chance you get.
Be like the spook who sat by the door.
Yeah.
Just sabotage those motherfuckers.
Ah.
Get them in trouble any chance you get.
Mhm. Blow the whistle. Last question. Um, at Wakulet says, is violence a reasonable way forward for Nigeria and Africa?
Hmm.
Is
Of
violence
course.
like? Mm,
Hmm.
Violence is, see, when people ask me this question about violence, you know, I'm like, is this 2025 or 1965? Why are we still having this discussion? All over the world where African people exist, economic warfare is being waged on us constantly. We're under financial attack, financial warfare, economic warfare, constantly, ideological warfare, constantly, information warfare.
yeah.
All these are violent acts. Depriving people of means of existence is a violent act.
Very.
True.
Millions of African children will die today from avoidable causes. That's a violent act. In my country, for example, rich oil businesses have oil tankers that are not properly serviced and maintained. They go on the road and these tankers
Dangote.
turn over, explode, kill 10 people on the road. Sometimes these trailers fail their brakes. One time, a Dangote truck ran into 20 kids in a bus stop. And nobody has gone to meet Dangote ever to ask him, so what do you think of this violence you use to operate your business? Do you think it's a good way to operate business with violence? You know, but every time you want to talk about liberation, people want to talk about violence. Is violence good? It is what it is. If there's violence, there's violence. If there's no violence, okay, well and good. But this is neither here nor there. This discussion about violence, is violence the way forward? Is the way forward the way forward. Whatever happens while you are moving, it happens. Whatever happens, happens. You know, I don't know. It can be violent, I don't give a fuck. What happens, happens. You know. But violence is no longer something that people can't you see what's going on in Gaza? Like, why are you talking about violence? Like, violence should no longer, as African people, if we are serious about our liberation, the discussion about violence should not be given any room. What's this violence? What's this discussion? When parents are watching their children die because they cannot give them food, and your child dies in your hands due to malnutrition, do you know what it means for a child to wither away and die from malnutrition? You know, I mean, who is asking about violence then? You know, like, why are we talking about violence is happening right now as we speak, so that we can speak on this thing. Violence is being perpetuated in a factory somewhere in China on some worker who has to put this thing together without seeing his family for 24 hours on some dead ass pay. iPhone factories in China have suicide nets, bro, because these workers were throwing themselves out of the factory window and rather dying than continue to work in that place. The conditions were that bad, you know. But then every day we are here, violence, 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 violence. Like, this is a non-issue. I don't think there's a question to answer about violence. You know, there's no issue here. There's no question. You know, whatever happens, happens.
Last thing. Recommend 2 books for us.
Wow, 2 books.
Speaking of which,
2 books.
ones that we can afford. Ones that we can afford. Because the West and the rest of us is for 500 euros where I'm from.
Well, you know, that's the thing, because we do not incorporate our revolutionary and historical teachings into our educational systems. Those books shouldn't be that expensive if they were still in print. Many of the books with true knowledge for African people are not in print anymore. Why? Because they're not in academia. They're not part of our recommended reading material. You know? So the academic press do not have to keep those books in print. You know, they buy so many great works by many of our great masters just wither away, get lost to history. Some of the best books I've read are no longer in print. So that means the new generation might never get to get that information the way it is, you know.
Yeah,
So
they have to go look
this is
for it.
another reason why the African educational system must be overhauled. You know, but I mean, Class Struggle in Africa by Kwame Nkrumah. That's a good book, and I'm sure it's not 500 euro. And the handbook, and since someone was asking about violence, I also recommend the Handbook for Revolutionary Warfare, also by Kwame Nkrumah.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Seun. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Definitely, this is this man's dream, you know. So, you know, you're fulfilling one of his
Man, we've wanted to do this for a long
objectives
time.
on
You know,
top
we
of this
wanted to do
podcast.
this for a long time. I'm happy that we've done this now,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know,
True.
Much respect and much appreciation. Trust me.
next time we're gonna
Thank
do
you
it,
for coming,
I'll be in
man.
Jamaica. You know, so we can properly do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yes.
Do it at the
Jamaican
beach.
style.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Much respect.
Much
All right.
Bye,
respect,
guys.
Seun.
Yeah, man.
Yardman Podcast are the one, the Yardman Podcast. Tell you about the Yardman Podcast. The Yardman Podcast. Tell you about the Yardman Podcast. The Yardman Podcast. Tell you about the Yardman Podcast. The Yardman Podcast. Tell you about the Yardman Podcast.
Subscribe now. We out.